When it comes to vintage sport bikes, I'm all about preserving that originality factor. So when I picked up this 1994 Honda CBR900RR, I thought it was in pretty good condition overall. The fairings were in good shape, there were no scratches, it never looked like it had ever been down. But since I have this 93 sitting right next to it, I noticed one glaring detail that I just couldn't stand anymore. What is it? It's the rear fender assembly. You'll see that on the 93, it maintains its original factory appearance. However, on the 94, it's been cut up and replaced with this stainless steel alternative. Now, I understand that a lot of people actually like this look of the shaved rear fender. It gives it more of a race bike appearance. It cleans up the profile. But for me, I don't know, maybe I'm just strange, but I love that original factory fender. It keeps the splash from the tire from getting everywhere on the bike, and it gives it a good place to mount the tag along with the light. It gives it a good place to mount the turn signals. It's just, I mean, it's there for a reason. So I was lucky enough to pick up this secondhand, uncut Honda CBR900 rear fender off of eBay. Check that out. That's right. It's in pretty good condition overall. The key aspect is it hasn't been cut yet. It even comes with all the reflectors on the side and everything, along with the original turn signals, although I won't really need to use them as this bike still has them fitted to the aftermarket alternative fender. So this might seem like an easy job to put this back in, but actually on these older bikes, it's not simply a bolt-on and bolt-off affair. You have to undo a lot of wiring and also remove all the fairings. So we're gonna take a look to see what it takes to replace and reinstall an original rear fender on a Honda CBR900RR. All right, with the seats removed from the motorcycle, we've met our first real hurdle, and those are these little metal clips that hold the two sides of the rear fairing together. See, these plastic fairings have become very brittle with time, and the only thing holding these clips on are small little tabs that, if moved in the slightly wrong direction, it'll just snap the fairings, and then the repair will become very, very difficult. I've covered the end of the screwdriver with electrical tape so it doesn't scar the surface of the plastic, the paint, as much. There's really nothing you can do. I mean, it scars it naturally anyways, but so that's one clip out. Just kind of have to hook it just right and pull it out. Just hope you don't break the plastic fairing. Just wiggle it off there. Oh. All right. I have a feeling that'll just be one of the very intricate little plastic tabs that I have to deal with along the way. Here we go. Whenever you work on an old motorcycle, you better be braced for the surprises that come along the way. So let's take this for an example. When I was disassembling the rear fairing on the right side, I noticed that this was no longer attached to here. That's right. If you look on this side, you'll see that it's one piece. I looked online seeing if I could buy this part, brand new from Honda. No chance. Couldn't even find a part number for it. I looked on eBay to see if I could pick up one used, and the only way they come that way is if they come attached to a whole subframe. So my only option from this point forward is to see if I can get this welded back to there. All right, so we've got this old piece of junk off of here. Look how crude this is. I mean, they literally took a chop saw to the rear original fender and then bolted it up to this stainless steel piece. I mean, it just doesn't look very nice at all. Honestly, it's really heavy. This has got to weigh every bit of 5 to 6 pounds, believe it or not. I mean, this is just stainless steel. It's not even aluminum. So I think it's really nice to get rid of this and then put this in. Again, this is a second-hand original rear fender. So it just needs some cleaning up. I might also swap over a few parts from the old one. As you can see, this ECU mounting bracket on the old one's in decent condition, where this second-hand one, it looks like possibly the scrap yard got a little vicious with removing the ECU and bent it. There's a couple other spots that I need to maybe even re-rivet. So we've got these loose reflectors on the side. We can tighten that up by just throwing a new rivet in there. It should fix that right up. And then generally just give it a good clean, because it is dirty as heck. So it's a little bit tedious, but once it's cleaned up, it'll look really nice. And then we'll be ready to fit it back into the motorcycle. So I've got the new rear fender all cleaned up, all the various pieces re-riveted, so everything's nice and tight. As you can see, I've shined it up quite a bit. Looking pretty good here. The new ECU mount bracket has been riveted in. It's now looking much, much better. Let's see underneath here, it's all cleaned up. It looks brand new, really. Let's get this thing put back in. It's probably gonna be a bit of a hassle getting around all those wires, fitting all those tabs around the aluminum subframe, but it's doable. It just takes a little bit of time. So if you remember, one of the fairing brackets was broken in half. I was lucky enough to find a local welding shop that said, yeah, bring the bracket on over, we'll weld it back together. So if you would look at this, there it is, it's now one piece. They were able to tack that back together and it looks very pretty. And I bet you this is stronger than the original one was to begin with. So with that, let's get these fairings back on the bike. there we have it. The factory fender is now fitted up to my 94 CBR900RR, and I gotta say, it looks a lot better now. That's the way it should have looked. That's the way the factory wanted it. And again, it's a street bike, so a fender like this makes all the sense in the world. Not to mention, this is what makes a bike collectible. Parts like this that haven't been tampered with. So this second-hand part is really cleaned up well, and it looks the business. And the best part of all of this is I can throw this heavy piece of junk that I pulled off of there to the garbage. No more needed there. So I gotta say, that's a result overall, and I'm excited to get this thing back out on the road.